In a previous video, we saw that we could generate 25,000 cars, and then by using task when all, we were able to send 25,000 HTTP requests to our web API in order to process those credit cards. But we said that sometimes we should not try to send too many HTTP requests to a web server because A, we could overwhelm the server, or B, we could even be blocked. So sometimes we need to throttle the communication or the rate of messages that we send so that we don't send 25,000 requests in a single go, but that we separate them in different batches. We can do that by using SemaphoreSlim. With SemaphoreSlim, we're going to be able to limit the amount of concurrent tasks that will be executed with the task when all. Let's get an example. First thing we need is to initialize a SemaphoreSlim, so I'm going to say using bar semaphore equal to new SemaphoreSlim, and here I will pass the amount of concurrent tasks that we want to run simultaneously. For example, we could say something like 4,000. Now we see that we have an error here because this is C#8 syntax, and this project by default is not configured to use C#8. So I have to do the following. I have to go here to the Solution Explorer. I have to unload this project, unload, right click here, edit WinForms, and now here I have to say lang version, and I will put 8.0 so that we use C#8. And now I can close this, and I can go back here and reload the project. So reload project, and now if we go to form 1, we can go back here and we will see that we have this working, and now we have access to C#8. Now we're going to do the following. We're not going to use a for each anymore, but we are going to use a select, and because of that we're going to be using lazy loading, which means that we are not going to run the HTTP requests immediately, but we're going to run them when we get to this line of code. So here, as you can see, we are saying post async, and here we are running the task. But that's okay, because we process them really fast, and when we get here, there may be some tasks that are done, but not every one of them. And so when we get to this line of code, we wait for the remaining tasks to be done. But in our case now, we're going to use lazy loading, so that we're not going to be really firing those HTTP requests until we get to this line of code. So let's go here, and I will say tasks equal to cards select. I will use link queue here, and I will say card, and then I will copy this and put it here. I can delete this, I don't need it anymore because this will be equal to the list, but I will return this, and I will say to list here, of course, because this is a list. And as you can see, this compiles, but we're not using our SemaphoreSlim. Let's use it. For that, we're going to say here await semaphore wait async. What this is doing is that if we have more than 4,000 tasks running, we're going to wait, and we're going to wait until the semaphore gets released. But as you can see here, we have an error because it says that the await operator can only be used within an async lambda expression. Although we are in an async method, since we are in a lambda expression, we have to use async here in the select. So async here. And we have to say await here also. And now I have to do the following. I will say try, because I want to do this action in a try, and if there is an error, I want to release the semaphore, because when we enter here, we are occupying one of the 4,000 spaces that we have in the semaphore. The semaphore acts as a control to throttle the amount of tasks that are going to be running simultaneously, as we said. So if I enter here, then it means that there is one space less for another task. And it is important to release the semaphore so that other tasks can enter the semaphore and be run. And that's actually it. With this, we have already implemented our semaphore logic, though it may be a little bit hard to see that it is working, with these huge numbers like 4,000 and 25,000. So what I'm going to do is that only for testing, I will reduce this to 15 and this to 3, so that we're going to see that our tasks are going to be run in batches of 3. Let's see that. Let's press Ctrl F5 to run our application. Now I want to open Visual Studio. Before running this, we have Web API here on the output window. And let's go back here and I will click on Start. And let's go here, and as you can see, we have 3, then 3, then 3, 3 more, and 3 more. And the total time for the operation was about 5 seconds, which is fine because 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5, which means that we have 5 batches and 1 second per batch, so 5.2 seconds seems about right. Therefore, with this we are able to throttle the amount of HTTP requests that we're sending to the server. In our case, that is important because we don't want to overwhelm our Web API. Now we can do our test with 25,000. Let's say 25,000, and let's say 4,000 is a good amount for us. So let's close this, let's go back here, and let's press Ctrl F5 one more time. And if we go here to Visual Studio and we go to Web API, we can clear this. And let's go back to Forms and we can start. And as you can see, we are processing the cards with batches of size 4,000. And as you can see, we have finished here. And in the end, this operation lasted 13 seconds. So as you can see, we can use SemaphoreSlim for throttling the amount of asynchronous tasks that we have running concurrently.